you guys are primarily, like you said, conducting face-to-face marketing or producing live events. So I'm just curious, with COVID, making both of those options impossible, how do you guys pivot that, or what were some major changes you had to put into play?
Sure. So, exactly as you say, before COVID, we were a live events agency, and we did quite a lot of live events. Some of those on the smarter clients were hybrid, because they know that some folks wanted to experience the event live and maybe also experience it on their cell phone at the same time, or they couldn't make the event and they wanted to dial in. So there was a lot of that going on, not quite as much as there is now. And then everyone immediately pivoted in February and March, pivoted to virtual only. It wasn't really hybrid, because you were kind of not even allowed to have an event. Most states, certainly in the US and most countries, kind of said no, nothing bigger than 10 people. So that's kind of hard to have live events when you can't gather more than 10 people. So we got heavily into digital and virtual. And really it was, I think the instinct of the marketplace was just to take that idea of a live event, try to recreate it online. And that was probably the first 6 months of the work we were doing with clients, was that, I had a trade show and I used to have a live booth. So can I design something online that looks like a booth? Sure. Of course we can do that. And I think we came out of that experience for the first 6 months really learning best practices around understanding the audience and how they interact with a virtual event or a virtual environment differently than they do with a live environment. And it really is a different mindset. A live environment is all about production. And you might even produce some digital or virtual content as part of that production. A virtual event or even a hybrid event is all about like almost a broadcasting mindset. Like it's all about content. And so you kind of flip that 80% networking, 20% content of a live event into 80% content and 20% networking in a virtual event. And then looking forward, which is really the genesis of your question, hybrid has become this whole entire thing. We've seen folks say, okay, my hybrid event's going to be partly live and partly virtual, and I'm going to smash those two things together. Well, that doesn't really make for a great hybrid event. What makes for a great hybrid event is really finding kind of the core idea of the multi-screen experience. And it just happens that, we used to talk about multi-screen in our business about being the TV and the phone and the computer. Well, add live to that. That's almost the fourth screen now. And so it's really, how do you build an event that's engaging across all those areas and really leverages technology in such a way to augment the live aspect? And so when we talk to our clients a lot, they talk a lot about virtual reality. We actually talk a lot about augmented reality, because this idea of hybrid really is augmented reality. It's let's take a live event and let's lay on a digital layer in an augmented way and have everyone have a connected, engaging experience. We think going forward that that's going to be the model. We strongly believe that hybrid is here to stay. Every brand will take it in a different direction, in their own direction. Every event will do it slightly differently. And some will lean back into that 90% live ethic, but we really think it's going to be a balance. And as a culture, we're kind of digital first. We're screen first, phone first. And so we think that's got a big play going forward in live events, is that will continue to be a powerful way to engage people that can show up on site or also might experience that after or before from home.
Oh, 100% agree. Like hybrid events are definitely becoming a thing now more than ever, obviously, but I think they're going to continue after this for sure, especially now. We were a digital world before. Now with COVID, after COVID, we are definitely like digital remote people. And now doing events and we're like, oh, wait, we can attend it when we need to, or it's more flexible, or we don't always have to drive to it. I just think that's the way of the future. And after talking to a lot of our different promoters, a lot of them were really hesitant about like virtual going online. And then they finally made that switch because, you have to adjust to the world around you or you're not going to grow. And it's just fun. It's funny talking to them because they're like, I was really like against it, really hesitant. And now they love it because they're like, wow, look, I could reach so much more people. And I'm like, yeah. And they're just amazed. Like they're reaching people like out of state, out of the country. And I'm like, yeah, like that's the beauty of hybrid. So you can still have that live person experience while extending your reach beyond just that range of people that attend.
Yeah. And it really is, it's a different mindset. I think we've evolved the folks that are really ahead of the curve have evolved to that thing is we used to produce content that would make sense in a live setting. And now we're programming content that can live on and augment the live setting, but really live on its own. So certainly for some of our more corporate clients, they're using their event program, so to speak, as the driver of their content marketing for the rest of the year, where it used to be the other way around. They would have some content and they would throw it into their event. Well, now they're designing the event to actually produce content that they can promote on their website, over social, through email campaigns, through other events, through third-party events that they may go to. It's really changed the mindset of the marketplace in a big way. And I think it's pushed us 5 years into the future, because I think this was coming, right? Yeah. Anyway, and this just made it, that much more important to do right away in 2020 and 2021 instead of waiting around for, 5 or 10 years for everything to catch up.